You're watching Newslink on ENCA. Well, 144 vulnerable people died between March and December 2016 after the Gauteng Health Department terminated its contract with the Life Esidimeni Group the previous year. The inquest into the deaths of these patients is expected to kick off today. A court will decide whether anyone can be held criminally liable for the fatalities. The psychiatric patients died when they were moved to non-compliant NGOs as a result of the cancellation of the contract with Life Esidimeni. Well, some also went missing when they were moved and have sadly never been located. Well, this man's uncle was among the lucky few to survive the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Today, Andrew Pietersen, a member of the Life Esidimeni Family Committee, tells us he's really looking forward to the fact that an inquest is finally being launched today. The North Gauteng High Court will now consider whether anyone can be held criminally liable into those 144 deaths. And who can forget it was 5 years ago. It's taken 5 years for this inquest to get off the ground. We cross now to Andrew Pietersen, who's standing by for us in Midrand. Your uncle, Andrew, was 74-year-old Victor Truter, who went to an unknown location and you had no idea of where he was.
Yes, Annika, absolutely. It's a very sad moment. We were told on the day of the removal that he was going to be moved. Fortunately, or as things turned out, I was at home at the time immediately dashed to Waverley in Germiston from Midrand to go and actually observe this event. As part of the family committee, I was taken by surprise because we've been negotiating and meantime the department was not negotiating in good faith. Eventually when I got there, there was a lot of confusion and, the whole thing was quite haphazard and very rushed, disorganized and very inhumane. So he was moved, yes, from the Life Care Center in Germiston without us knowing exactly where he was going to be taken. He was eventually moved to Baneng Care Center, and then from Baneng we are told he went to Sterkfontein. But all of this came after the event, In the meantime, we were looking for him, and eventually we found him at Mosego in Krugersdorp at an NGO there.
And that took 2 months, Andrew.
Pardon?
That took 2 months, if I'm correct.
Yes, that took about 2 months, yes, before we could actually locate him. I mean, in the meantime, we were totally traumatized. This was so unfair on our family because we were very close with my uncle. I grew up with my uncle, with my grandmother in Alexandra Township. And we were brought up to love and care for him. I couldn't imagine not seeing him for 2 months and not knowing where he was and what was happening to him. What was he having for a meal? Was he properly taken care of? Were his rights observed? As far as we were concerned in the committee, these people were going to be moved to unknown NGOs.
What kind of state was?
So that's what it is.
Yeah. How was his mental health and physical health when you finally managed to track him down?
Well, Annika, he was in a terrible state, actually. He was totally, emaciated. I could literally feel his skeletal structure, his bones. We have a tradition in our family of hugging. So whenever I see him, first thing I do is give him a hug. But I mean, he looked run down. And usually he's on the other spectrum of schizophrenia where he's hyperactive. But on that occasion, he was totally flattened out. And he was hungry and he was totally dehydrated. I was told later on by one of the doctors, because I went on the relocation to move the patient, that he had suffered from temporal dehydration.
It's an absolute tragedy.
So he was
and it's appalling. It still makes me feel ill to even think about what you went through with your family members. It's been 5 years. What does this new inquest mean to you?
Well, the new inquest is a light of hope, Annika. It's welcome because at least now the wheels of justice are beginning to grind. And I think this is a very important process that will eventually lead to criminal prosecutions. I think this is very important for not just for us as a family and for all the families, but also for the entire country, given where we are at the moment with the issues of justice and the fundamentals of our constitution, and the constitution being fundamental to our new democracy.
Okay. Andrew Pietersen, thank you so much. Your uncle lost in that tragic transfer of psychiatric patients from Life Esidimeni to NGOs that weren't necessarily registered with the department. And as you say, you hugged your uncle after finally finding him after 2 months, emaciated, feeling, I imagine, the ribs in his back. Well,